All right, hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive? Today we're going to tackle Robin Sharma's The 5 a.m. Club, or at least a good chunk of it. We're using this awesome YouTube summary to walk us through chapters 1 and 2.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been meaning to check out this book for ages.
It's pretty intense. It's not just about waking up early, it's about becoming legendary, achieving your full potential, that kind of thing. And get this. The book starts with a once super successful entrepreneur who is now like totally on the verge of ruin.
Wow, talk about a hook.
Right. And it gets even wilder. He's even thinking about doing something, how does Sharma put it? Oh, yeah, a dangerous deed.
Ooh, okay, I'm definitely intrigued. So how does he pull himself out of this mess?
That's where the super inspiring character, the Spellbinder, comes in. He basically lays out this whole philosophy for how to unlock your true potential and become, well, legendary.
Okay, that's a pretty big claim. What's the core of this philosophy?
He starts by reminding us that we were all born into the opportunity as well as the responsibility to become legendary. Like it's in our DNA to be great.
I love that. It's so easy to forget our potential.
Totally. But the Spellbinder doesn't sugarcoat it. He says, the world you desire can be won. It exists, it is real, it is possible, it is yours. But then he also acknowledges that it's a lot harder in reality.
Right. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. Real success takes work.
Exactly. And he actually warns against seeking out an easy life. He says society kind of pushes us towards weakness and complacency.
Whoa, that's a bold statement. What exactly does he mean by that?
While he thinks we've been conditioned to accept mediocrity, he calls the things holding us back seducers and liars, basically anything that keeps us playing small. Like, think about it. Have you ever felt pressure to just fit in, even if you knew you were capable of more?
Yeah, I think most of us have experienced that at some point.
Right. And the Spellbinder challenges us to break free from that. He has this amazing line, world class begins where your comfort zone ends.
I love that. It's so true. If you're not at least a little uncomfortable, maybe you're not aiming high enough.
Yeah. It's like embrace the challenge. But that can be easier said than done, of
For
course.
sure. But I think the key is to start somewhere, even if it's just a small step.
Right. And the Spellbinder emphasizes that. He says the smallest of implementations is always worth more than the grandest of intentions. It's about actually doing something, not just dreaming about it.
So true. Action speaks louder than words, right?
Absolutely. But one thing that really stuck with me is his perspective on setbacks. Remember our entrepreneur at the start? The Spellbinder would say to him, nothing was an accident, zero was a waste. Like every experience, even the tough ones, has shaped us into who we are today.
Hmm. That's a really interesting way to look at things. Like, instead of dwelling on past failures, you can choose to see them as stepping stones.
Exactly. It's almost like those tough times are preparing us for something even bigger and better. They're
Mhm.
shaping us into the people we need to be to achieve those supreme desires.
But how would our entrepreneur actually apply that in his situation? How do you go from feeling defeated to seeing the opportunity?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. So, how could this entrepreneur use what the spellbinder's telling him and actually make a comeback? What would that look like?
Well, instead of just being stuck on the betrayal and the fact that he could lose everything, maybe he could start to see this as a chance to do something completely new, like reinvent himself. Maybe he'll even find some new strength he didn't know he had because of this.
So, it's like what they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah, exactly. But it's more than just becoming stronger. The Spellbinder saying this could be like the perfect moment for him to finally go after those supreme desires, like a total reset, but he comes back even better.
Okay, I like that. But how do we actually change our thinking like that? How do you go from feeling totally defeated to seeing the opportunity in a setback like that?
That's the real question, isn't it? And the Spellbinder says it starts with figuring out what's holding us back. He calls those things seducers and liars. Basically, it's all the fears and doubts that make us think small. He even calls them thieves because they're stealing our potential.
Those are strong words. It's like those bad thoughts are stopping us from living an amazing life.
Exactly. And it takes real effort to overcome them. The Spellbinder says all possibility requires hard work, regular reinvention, and a dedication as deep as the sea.
Sounds like there's no easy way out.
Nope. The Spellbinder is all about pushing yourself and not giving in to wanting everything to be easy and fun all the time.
Like he says, world class begins where your comfort zone ends. I love that quote. Have you ever felt that? Like you had to get past being scared to do something incredible.
Oh, yeah, all the time. Think about the feeling you get when you do something you were terrified of, but then it turns out amazing.
Hmm.
That's what he's talking about. We're kind of programmed to avoid risk and just stay comfy. But that's not how we really grow.
So it's not about avoiding hard things, it's about using them to make ourselves better.
Exactly. We've got to learn to see challenges as chances to learn and grow.
That makes a lot of sense. But I think a lot of people have trouble with negative thoughts when things get tough. How do you stop those thieves from messing things up so you can actually see the opportunity?
Well, the Spellbinder really believes in taking action. He says, the smallest of implementations is always worth more than the grandest of intentions. So even if you don't feel like it, just do something, anything, to move towards your goal.
It's like they say, doing something, even a small thing, actually makes you feel more motivated.
Totally. When you see yourself making progress, it helps keep those negative thoughts quiet.
So for our entrepreneur, instead of getting stuck on what he's lost, he could take small steps to rebuild his business. Maybe he could get in touch with some old contacts, come up with new ideas, just anything to get moving.
Yeah, that's it. And as he starts doing things, maybe he'll even see new possibilities he didn't notice before. He might even find out he has hidden talents or strengths he didn't know about.
It all goes back to that idea that nothing was an accident, zero was a waste. What feels like a total failure now could actually be the start of something amazing.
Definitely. It's like the universe is giving him a chance to level up, but he's got to take it.
So it's not just about accepting things, it's about seeing the opportunity hidden inside.
Right. It's about taking control and using everything as fuel to reach those supreme desires. That's something we can all do no matter what we're going through.
I think that's a really powerful message for everyone listening. But what else does the Spellbinder say about getting past those thieves and reaching that world-class level of success? So we've talked about facing challenges head-on and taking action, but is there anything else the Spellbinder says about reaching that world-class level of success?
Yeah, he talks a lot about mindset, like really mastering your inner world before you can even think about conquering the outer world.
Makes sense. It's hard to focus on goals if you're constantly fighting those thieves in your head.
Right, exactly. And one of the ways he says to do that is through things like meditation and journaling. He thinks those are super important for quieting down all the mental noise and becoming more self-aware.
So it's not all about just working hard all the time. It's also about taking care of your mind and how you feel.
Totally. He's all about achieving balance in every part of your life, physical, mental, emotional, even spiritual. He says that's true success.
I like that. We often get so caught up in what success looks like on the outside, but we forget about how important it is to feel peaceful and fulfilled on the inside.
Right. And he's saying that all the outer stuff won't really mean anything if you haven't done the inner work.
So let's go back to our entrepreneur for a second. Imagine him adding these practices into his daily routine. Maybe he starts each day with meditation to get centered, and then uses journaling to work through his feelings and keep track of his progress. How do you think that would change his comeback story?
I think it would be huge. It would give him the clarity and strength he needs to deal with all the challenges that are coming his way. He could start each day with purpose and focus, even when things are tough.
And just think about the confidence he would gain from getting control of his mind. That would affect everything and everyone around him.
For sure. And that's a big part of what the Spellbinder is saying. Real success isn't just about personal gain. It's about using what you're good at to make a positive impact on the world.
So it's about becoming the best version of yourself so you can actually help others. This has been a really awesome deep dive. What's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from this?
I think the most important takeaway is that we all have what it takes to be legendary. But we have to actually believe it and put in the work. It's about stepping outside our comfort zones, quieting those negative thoughts, and consistently working towards the life we want.
So it's not about waiting for things to happen, it's about making them happen.
Exactly. It's about taking charge of our lives and writing our own stories.
This has been super inspiring. I don't know about you. Before we go, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about. Remember the Spellbinders line, world class begins where their comfort zone ends. What's one small thing you can do today to push past your comfort zone and get a little closer to that amazing version of yourself? That's something to think about. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep reaching for your full potential.
See you next time.